Happy Thursday! Hope you're doing well. This is Jilly Bling, Stamping with Jilly, and I have a project for you today, once again using the Ornate Garden Suite. And on my blog, or you can internet search Ornate Garden Suite, and it's available beginning April until the end of May, and then in early June the new annual catalog goes into effect, and this will be in the annual catalog. So when I flip the page, I'll show you all the different parts to this, but you could get it all for $136.75, or you could get bundles, and I'll show you what those are. And then there's a few additional accessories. So look at that. There are stamp sets, borders, stamp set, layers and dies, and embossing folder, a ribbon combo pack, and these gilded gems, and of course there's designer paper. So yesterday we used the designer paper and the ribbon, and today we will use the layers dies and ornate style stamp set and the gems in the folder. Okay, there is that. Look how pretty this is. We'll be using this size one here. This is Ornate Layers. Isn't that beautiful? So it's a set of 8. And then this one I'm sure we'll be using soon, within the next few days or week. And this is the borders. And that has 9 dies in it, including these 3 little flowers that perfectly fit right there. And this is the set we'll be using today. Yesterday we used the daisy. Today we'll be using the bouquet in the corner. And this card I saw, and thanks to StampinSavvy.com for putting this design out on the internet. It's beautiful. I like it. And then here's a second card. And this one I thought, well, these are soft pastel type colors, and I would try the bold colors because Coastal Cabana, the color name for the card base, that's one of the bright, so I used a lot of bright colors in here. Aren't those gems fun? That little frame is beautiful too. Then I did more coloring on the inside. On this one I didn't do so much coloring because after making these 2 fronts and this inside, yeah, I had enough coloring. So very simple, which some people will like. So for the words, I used Beautiful Bouquet, and this set, I haven't even tried making the bouquets yet, and there's dies to go with this, but the words are wonderful. And this is shown at 60%. So what does that mean? That means when you look at it here, you think, oh, it's just a small little words, but it's more. I'm trying to find the one that I use. I couldn't have picked a better friend than you. It's considerably larger in real life. But that's just so they could fit all the little pictures on the front. Okay, so let's get started. This one I made separate. Today we'll be making this one, but I like that one too. Different orientation. So here are all the items I think we'll need. Don't forget to use your embossing buddy before you do heat embossing. This is heat embossed using Versamark ink and gold embossing powder. But use your embossing buddy, otherwise you're going to get a whole bunch of little silver or gold freckles all over on here. And I did get a few of them. I probably should have embossing buddied a little bit more. And if ever you do get those little freckles before you heat it, I should have taken my little well-loved paintbrush, and the tip is really tiny, and just knock off any of the powder. I couldn't really get in there, otherwise I'd mess up the word friend, but it's nice to have that on hand. Okay, so I will put this one here. And you know, when I was doing this coloring, I thought it was a little bit too, everything was similar. obviously the daisy stands out and the petaled pink flower stands out. So I did another one, the one that I'm going to do here in just a minute, with different coloring on it, which I like a little bit better. I really like this one. Okay, this one's going to stay right here because it's so pretty. Can you even see it? Look at that. Okay, so on this little paper, which fits here, I'm going to stamp the words in Versamark. Couldn't have picked a better friend than you. And let me get some different color paper. There, now we all can see it well. I'm going to get it right down at the bottom. Oh, embossing buddy. I was just talking about that. Okay, that's going to make all the difference. Okay. Good. And now for the floral. Ooh, what part do you want to capture? I like this leaf here at the top, so I'll try that again. Oh, and you know, when I did this the first time, can you see the words? I can't either. So, while it's still wet, put it into here. Okay. And now, I know I haven't used the heat tool yet, and I will avoid with the stamp touching the words and the powder, but at least I know about where to go. How about, it's going to be different. Everyone will be different. There. Okay. And now I'll get the gold embossing powder on here. Without touching anything. Look at that. Pretty, pretty. I kind of like the top where there's no flowers. Okay. And in the magic of TV, I'm going to cook it. Heat it up. And this is the one that I colored a little different. This one to me is a bit monochromatic. It's okay, it's still beautiful, but I think I like this one better. Well, they're both nice. Okay, so the stamping, heat embossing, and coloring. Oh, and I colored with the blends. These are the colors I used, and I'll put them on my blog post. So it's Color Lifter Pool Party Light, and that's for this around the edges. And then this is Petal Pink and Mango Light, Light Seaside Spray, which is for just a hint of color in the daisy. And this is Purple Posy and Olive Green. Okay, so it's all colored, all outlined. I used the lifter to make that softer. Okay, so for the texture, I'm going to use an embossing folder. This is a brand new embossing folder. It's called Ornate Floral, and you need to have the blue plate to run this through your Big Shot. So, take your paper, put it in, crank it through, and here it is. Isn't that pretty? Okay, it's starting to happen. Here's the card base. Fold that in half. Soft fold with your fingers, and then use your bone folder to confirm the crease. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. And for the ornate layers, isn't that incredible? So this is gold foil. I'll run that through the Big Shot, cranking it. Voila, it's done. Look at that. bouquet. And this is paper for the inside. I'm going to stamp this and use the Embossing Buddy. Here's one that's done. So these are embossed. This is embossed. And like I said, I didn't do the whole bouquet on this one just because I was kind of tired of coloring. Oh, and a note about coloring with embossing, heat embossing. In the previous video I said that we probably shouldn't do it, so I used a water-based ink for coloring the markers and blender pens. This one I really wanted to have the beautifully colored images using the blends. And I know you shouldn't do it, and you shouldn't do it because the markers are alcohol-based, and when you color with them, the alcohol in the marker makes the image, the heat embossed gold image, it kind of disintegrates the heat embossing. And if you kept going over one spot, there would be no embossing left, and the tip of your marker would be dirtied, and you would be getting a very muddy image. Even on some of these, this one I was really careful on, but some of the other ones, you could see where it's a little bit brown on a flower, and that's just because I picked up the embossing powder that was already heated. It was dissolving it. So if you're really careful, the first time you pass over the gold embossing, it's fine, but the second time you go over, you start picking up a little bit of the material. So if you're really careful, you could do it. Therefore, you could tell there's not a lot of blending on the leaves here, just because I didn't want it to get muddy. And from a distance, it just looks a little bit more dramatic. So I'm fine with that. Okay, so carrying on, assembling this card. A little snail. There, and put the inside in. It's very pretty, very simple though. Okay, so for the ribbon, we will use this, which is shimmer ribbon, gold shimmer ribbon. And this came out with the Christmas time product suite in November. And I just checked, and it's still available, which is nice because I really like it. I'll take this, get my scissors, and I'm just going to have a band go across, and then I'll put a tiny little bow off to the edge. Before I put this on, I'm going to wrap this around, and I want it to go about midpoint on the words. So if this is here, then I'm going to want it to go right about there. It doesn't have to be perfect. And to put the ribbon on, I would normally just wrap it under, but I kind of like to hold it in place right there. So I know I want it right about there. And that's going to be underneath. If this bit of ribbon was showing, I wouldn't have done the glue dot because it kind of puckers the ribbon a bit. And then to wrap it around, in the past I would have just used snail adhesive to stick it on, but I've found a few cards and the ribbon pops up off of there. I don't like that. So now I take precautions where I put a glue dot on both sides. Like that. And I could just push this over, but I want to make sure that it's parallel with the bottom. And then one more precaution. This is probably more than I need to do, but that's how I am. I'm going to use a little tear tape. Just a little bit. And I'm not going to take the paper off of it, but this is going to make sure that it stays down and right in place. You can't see it from the front, but that's just like a band-aid holding it down. And then I don't want tear tape too big because I'm going to put a dimensional right here. And if I have tear tape there, the dimensional won't stick. So, it's a fine line in between too much and not enough. Okay, so the ribbon's on. This is going to go on. Oh, I could put that on now with dimensionals. Okay, so get this on here. Pretty. Isn't that nice? And sparkly and pretty and elegant and ornate. Okay, and now dimensionals on the back of this panel. Okay, it's ready to go on. There it is. And then with this ribbon, I'm going to tie a little bow. And you know I have to move it around until it's perfect. So I tied a bow before, and it's close. And I'll put a glue dot on there. I should just start using my other glue dots. These are challenging. It's like a whole extra step. Okay, there's a little bow. You know what? I think I want that on the frame a little bit. Okay. And, well, maybe I'll put one more glue dot on it because I want that little arm, that little leg to stay in place. Kind of going off to the side a bit. There it is. And then I'll trim these feet. Is that adorable or what? Look how pretty that is. Oh, I like it. Okay. Icing on the cake. These are gilded gems. They're like rhinestone shape, but they're gold as gold can be. Aren't those pretty? And they come in 3 different sizes, 3 rows of each. You could tell I used quite a few of the little ones for these 2 cards. Okay, so I will put on little ones on the little flowers. Trying to get that glue dot underneath my gem so I could pick it up and stick it on. That one I think I almost lost the glue dot. Got it. And then on the daisies, oop, I lost the glue dot. Now there's the glue dot. Okay, so 5 of those. And then the medium size will go onto the daisy. Alrighty, so what do you think of this one? I like it. It's so beautiful, it's so fresh, it's so springtime, it's so ornate. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you can, subscribe to my YouTube web page. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow with a different project using the same product suite. Okay, hope you have a great day. Thanks.